In the PFL, when talent meets opportunity.
Bubba Jenkins, Brendan Loughnane, $1 million on the line in the featherweight division.
A life can change.
Brendan Loughnane, featherweight champion!
This is the hardest competition in sport.
Each year, the PFL dream is there for the taking. And this season, the battle is as fierce as ever. As a cast of killers fight for playoff spots.
Oh, it's a punch!
The Brit aiming for a second PFL crown. The undefeated knockout prince from Dagestan. The Magic Man in a fight for redemption. To live the PFL dream, you must first make the playoffs. 20 fighters, 8 spots remain. Who's moving on and who's going home? Welcome to the 2024 PFL regular season finale.
Welcome, PFL fight fans, to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, our final regular season event of 2024. There's the falls this beautiful city is named after. Been a lot of rain. We're here at the Sanford Pentagon getting ready for featherweight and welterweight action. Loughnane, Gonzalez, Storley, Oakley. Regular season action, points, and a spot in the playoff on the line. Here's how the Professional Fighters League season works. 10 fighters in each weight class, 6 different divisions, 2 regular season fights for each fighter, 3 points for a win, bonus points for a finish. The top 4 fighters on points will make the playoffs. If you can fight through the playoffs and to a championship, that's good for $1 million in every weight class. Sean O'Connell, Tyron Woodley, Randy Couture, happy to be here for the end of our regular season. And just like we had the last couple of weeks, some intriguing matchups. Yep. Some folks have points. They're in a good position, Randy. There's other people who are desperate and they need finishes.
That is the thing I love about this format, especially as we roll into these second regular season fights. Some guys are sitting with big zeros. They've got to come out strong, find a way to get a finish, and get those extra criteria points. Does that affect the guys with points and how they meet those other guys? It's really interesting and intriguing. It's what I love about the PFL format.
Featherweight and welterweight, both incredibly deep divisions, which means even some of those people with 0 points, still contenders.
I got to believe all the fighters tonight have televisions. They watched the last 2 weeks. Everybody put in work. It's the last city to check off. I'm looking to see the brackets completed. Who's going to the playoffs?
Honestly, I think there's some people on tomorrow night's fight card who've never seen a television in their life. We got some wild men on tomorrow night's card. Let's take a look at our featherweight standings. Again, this is through 1 regular season fight. Brendan Loughnane, 6 points. Gabriel Braga, he's got 6, but more on him in just a second. Timur Khizriev, Kai Kamaka, Adam Boric all had decision victories, good for 3 points. Boric injured and out. That opens up opportunities for everybody down the line who's got 0 points. There's Brendan Loughnane. Wasn't so long ago that this was the champion in our featherweight division. He's looking to repeat. He wants another $1 million, another gold belt, and more opportunities that come with being a champ. Justin Gonzalez back against the wall. He knows exactly what's at stake. He either keeps the $1 million dream alive tomorrow night or hits the reset button. Let's start with Brendan Loughnane. At his very best, he is truly championship caliber. He's proven that to us. He's coming in with points tomorrow night. What version of Brendan Loughnane do we see?
I think we're going to see the version that we saw in the first opening season fight. He came out, he looked on target, the long-range weapons are there, the hands are on point and accurate. Here's a guy, here's Bubba Jenkins in his 2022 fight fight championships for $1 million. Great fight. This kid brings it every single time he steps out there. He got out-wrestled in a couple seasons ago against Movie Haibalayab. Went to Haibalayab to shore up that part of his game. That's the kind of character that Brendan Loughnane brings to the Smart Cage.
His opponent, Justin Gonzalez, we've met with him, and he was just very frank. He knows exactly what position he's in. He's made some changes to try and reverse some negative momentum.
Definitely. He's coming off 3 lessons. Well, he did say that he's training at top notch. This is his first full camp with them. He has been acknowledged, not only him, but his opponent has acknowledged the caliber of the people that he had those lessons to. He said, I am going for the finish, which I like, unlike the other prior weeks, when people said, I'm just going for the win. He recognized the danger of going for the hunt, but he's identified some weaknesses. He's looking to make it ugly with some wrestling.
That's a fun featherweight main event. Also featured tomorrow night will be the welterweights. Let's take a look at our welterweight standings. Don Madge, Murad Ramazanov, 6 points on the strength of first-round finishes. Shamil Musayev was the biggest breakout. He had a huge upset in the first half of the regular season, good enough for 5 points. Magomed and Goichi Yamuchi, they have 3 points apiece, and contenders all the way down, very capable of finishing and jumping into those standings. And one of the guys with 0 points right now, but incredible credentials and a long history of success in combat sports, happens to be a local favorite as well. Logan Storley, he knows exactly what's at stake. He could be eliminated from the playoffs in front of a hometown crowd.
He's definitely a hometown hero. The rideshare driver, the receptionist at the front desk, even the golf pro, talk about his loyal following. People are going to drive that 2.5 hours to come and watch him fight. When you look at his credentials, 6 state championships, 4 NCAA All-American status, but he has 10 KOs. So when you look at him, he's looking to utilize his wrestling to put the pressure on him. He understands that looking past an opponent isn't a good idea.
And because he does need points, you can't just grind out a wrestling decision victory. He's got to be going for the finish that Tyron just mentioned. The same is true of his opponent, Luka Poklied. Took this fight on relatively short notice, but he's got the skills to get it done inside the distance.
Poklied started wrestling at 9. He comes from that Dagestani school of wrestling in Nurmagomedov. He's got 8 finishes, all in the first round. Very unorthodox, very flexible. He's got great wrestling. You see here a beautiful takedown. Here's the weird, the Luka-nator. This weird inverted grip arm triangle that I've never seen anybody do, and he's known for this technique. Very, very good submission skills. He's going to need them tonight.
So that's your co-main event. Let's take a look at the whole main fight card that, of course, will be on ESPN and simulcast on ESPN+. Loughnane Gonzalez, Storley Poklied, Magomed Umalatov brings an undefeated record and an unbelievable skill set in, and he is a prohibitive favorite over Brennan Ward. Gabriel Braga is still a favorite over Bubba Badman Jenkins after an issue with his weight cut. Gabriel Braga came out of nowhere, emerged through the PFL Challenger Series and fought all the way to a championship opportunity where he came up just short in his only career loss to Jesus Pinedo. Bubba Jenkins has been chasing this belt and chasing this $1 million. He thinks this year is the best version of the bad man we will see yet. Tyron Woodley, we cannot shy away from it. At the official weigh-ins this morning, Gabriel Braga missed, and he missed big. What do we infer from that miss?
I mean, he definitely lost the first battle. Almost 5 pounds is a big, drastic miss. So what he said is he's trying to wash that out of his memory bank. He's trying to focus on the fight. Don't forget, he was a finalist in 2023. He does have the skills and ability. He's looking to put himself back into the hunt, focus on the fight, and honor his father's name that tragically lost his life in January. So I feel like it's a disadvantage for Bubba, but he has to refocus and put himself back in position.
Braga, 6 points in the first fight. He will be penalized for missing weight, -1 in the league standings, which means he carries 5 points in to that feature bout tomorrow. Now let's talk about Bubba Jenkins. Bubba, he's riding 0 into tomorrow night, which means he needs a finish, Randy.
Yeah, Bubba had a tough first fight against Kamaka. thinks he won that fight. He's got a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, but we've seen Bubba with a chip on his shoulder before. I think since the Chris Wade loss a couple seasons ago, we've seen a different Bubba Jenkins. He shored up his wrestling or his striking rather, with Dewey Cooper. We're seeing more submission skills out of him. We know he has the Division I wrestling skills at that national championship from Arizona State. We're seeing a very well-rounded, very confident, but not overconfident Bubba Jenkins right now.
That main card is full of really fascinating matchups, but that's not all the action we have at the Sanford Pentagon tomorrow night. This is where it begins on your early card. First fight, 6:30 Eastern, exclusively on ESPN+. And it's right to the regular season action. Tyler Diamond and Brett Johns looking to secure a playoff spot. You can see blue corner favorite Brett Johns. Same is true of Andrei Koreshkov as he takes on Goichi Amuchi right there in the middle of your card. We'll finish the early card with a welterweight showcase. They feature Lorenz Larkin, a veteran of the game. But how about this one? It's an all-Russia affair. Murad Ramazanov has been incredible so far as a mixed martial arts pro. Completely well-rounded skill set. But that man stole the show in the first regular season fight. He handed Logan Storley his only career knockout loss in incredibly impressive fashion. Is Shamil Musayev the man to beat at 170? Let's start with Ramazanov. This guy emerges from that factory in the Dagestan. He has every skill you need to maybe go all the way to a championship, but he's got a tough opponent tomorrow.
Yeah, now Ramazanov is the one from Dagestan and the Nurmagomedov School of MMA. Provlit is from Moldova, training in not Israel. I want to say Israel, Ireland, crying out loud. I want to correct that. I made a mistake there. This guy's very, very well-rounded, heavy hands. He's got 8 first-round finishes coming into this, and he's going to need that finishing power tomorrow night to get the job done.
Tyron, I already mentioned it with Shamil Musayev. It is no small feat to put away a man like Logan Storley, and Shamil Musayev did that in his first regular season bout. But now he's got a guy with an equally impressive record standing in front of him. What's the key for Musayev tomorrow?
I mean, this fight is for Russian pride. When you look at it, he's undefeated, 17 wins, 12 stoppages, 8 of those happening in the first round. Even prior to the MMA, he was an international wrestler, several medals in the Russian National Championship. He's looking to utilize his hands. I believe that high-level wrestlers always have that threat of showing the takedown and get you to drop your hands and light you up with the strikes. Most of his finishes are by KO, so he's looking to put on a show.
I think I failed to mention it to this point. Both of these guys are undefeated. Each of them has 1 no contest on the record, but 0 defeats between the two of them in over 30 pro MMA fights. That is going to be an incredible bout. We're here for the weigh-ins. Enough of us talking. Let's get these fighters on the scale. Of course, the voice of our PFL Smart Cage is in the building, Andy Shepard.
Thank you, Sean. Yes, tomorrow night we are wrapping up our regular season here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Who will be the final athletes to book their tickets to the all-important playoffs? Come and join us as we find out as the action begins from 6:30 p.m. Eastern live on ESPN+. Now, let's get the fighters on their scales. And to help us do that, it's our president of fighter operations, Ray Sefo.
Ray Sefo, Holly and Janie, and here's our first fights. Tyler Diamond and Brett Johns in regular season action.
Introducing first, in the blue corner, fighting out of Swansea, Wales, Brett Johns.
And he's definitely a seasoned veteran, 11 years in the paint. Started off his career 12-0.
Official weight 145.5 pounds.
Has 6 finishes, definitely former Titan champion. He has a lot of experience looking to show that in that cage.
And in the red corner, fighting out of Oroville, California, Tyler Diamond.
Tyler Diamond has a great gas tank, 5 knockouts and 2 submissions in his 13 victories. Comes from born in Sacramento, California, started wrestling at the age of 12. been in this sport for quite a long time, went to North Dakota State University, so he's going to have some hometown fans here in Sioux Falls.
Up next, welterweight action, Don Madge, Naaman Gracie.
Next to the scales, in the blue corner, fighting out of Newport Beach, California, by way of Brazil, Naaman Gracie.
You already know the name, you know the game. Jiu-Jitsu specialist, black belt, 9 submissions, from the Gracie family, cousin of Royce Gracie.
Gracie hits the scales at 170.5 pounds.
Nephew of Renzo Gracie, definitely splitting his time up in California and Brazil.
And in the red corner, fighting out of Cape Town, South Africa, Don Madge.
Don Madge comes out of Cape Town, an Extreme Fighting Championship champion down there. 7-3-1 record before he came to Bellator. He's 5-5, 5 knockouts, 5 submissions, with his 11 victories.
Third fight of the night will be in the featherweight division. Timur Khizriev, Enrique Barzola.
In the blue corner, fighting out of El Augustino, Lima, Peru, Enrique Barzola.
Some of you guys may know Enrique from the Ultimate Fighter Latin American Season 2. He was the tournament winner, went 6-3 in the UFC. Also spent some time in Bellator, went 4-2. Looking to make that splash in the PFL.
Barzola weighs in at 146 pounds. And in the red corner, fighting out of Makhachkala, Dagestan, Russia, Timur Khizriev.
Khizriev has 3 knockouts and 1 submission in his 15 victories. Comes out of Dagestan and the American top team in Dagestan. A little bit different training situation.
Khizriev, a well-known grinder, a lot of decision victories. That doesn't guarantee him a spot in the playoffs, so only a finish does that for Timur.
So many of these guys are win or go home, or finish or go home.
Up next, welterweight regular season action, Goichi Yamauchi, Andrei Koreshkov.
Up next, in the blue corner, fighting out of Omsk, Russia, Andrei Koreshkov.
Andre, former Bellator welterweight champion, was 16-4 in Bellator, won season 7 and season 10 of the tournament. Definitely very electric, a lot of striking, a lot of grappling, a lot of pressure. Look forward to fireworks.
Andre hits the scales of 171 pounds. And his opponent in the red corner, fighting out of Curitiba, Paraná, Brazil, Goichi Yamauchi.
Yamauchi started fighting at the age of 15, had an 11-year run in Bellator, 29 victories, 21 of those by submission. Guy's amazing on the ground.
Both of these guys so incredibly experienced. But again, only a finish guarantees a spot in the playoffs. Featherweight action up next. Kai Kamaka and Pedro Carvalho squaring up.
Introducing first, fighting out of the blue corner from Dublin, Ireland, and representing Portugal, Pedro Carvalho.
Pedro Carvalho definitely won his first 4 fights in Bellator, which put him in position to fight the Trico Pitbull for Bellator championship. Fell short there, but he trains out of the famous SBC gym, home of Conor McGregor and Coach John Kavanaugh.
In the red corner, fighting out of Las Vegas and representing Hawaii, Kai Kamaka.
Kamaka's training with us at Extreme Couture. Hard-working, very diligent young man. Puts in the work. He's got 1 knockout, 1 submission in his 13 victories. Got 3 points going into this one. He's going to have to get it done against a very, very tough opponent.
Kamaka, 4 wins in a row, looking to make it 5 in a row to secure himself a playoff spot. A finish will do that. A decision victory, he'd have to sweat it out. It's all Russia in this one. Murad Ramazanov and Shamil Musayev at welterweight.
First up, in the blue corner, fighting out of this year, Russia, Shamil Musayev.
The silent assassin coming out of the Golden Team. Definitely an all-Russian war in this fight right here. When you look at this, his ability to strike, KOs, 10 of them there, 17 victories, 8 in the first round.
And his opponent in the red corner, fighting out of Makhachkala, Dagestan, Russia, Murad Ramazanov.
Ramazanov has 4 knockouts and 4 submissions in his 12 victories. Again, he comes out of Dagestan and Nurmagomedov MMA school there with the legend Khabib Nurmagomedov. That's a mouthful.
A win of any kind gets these men in. Does that change the way the fight goes? You don't have to be quite as aggressive, but the style for both of them is to get it done early.
I think they're both going to be pretty aggressive.
We'll cap off the early card with a showcase bout, Lorenz Larkin and Alan Dominguez.
In the blue corner, fighting out of Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico, Alan Dominguez.
Alan Dominguez is making his PFL debut, but not only that, he's making his U.S. debut. All of his wins, all 11 are by stoppages, 5 KOs, 6 submissions. Former Lux Fight League welterweight champion, definitely trying to make a name out of a veteran, Lorenz Larkin. Got the mask, look at him, representing his culture. First time we've seen some excitement on the scale so far.
And in the red corner, fighting out of Riverside, California, Lorenz Larkin.
Lorenz Larkin brings a ton of experience in it. 25 victories, 13 of those by knockout. Fought for Bellator welterweight title against Lima and came up a little short. This guy's been in the mix. He has a lot of experience. He's a well-rounded fighter. He wants to show his abilities to the bosses here at the PFL.
It was interesting in the fighter meetings. Lorenz Larkin said, hey, Alan Dominguez is a good fighter, but he's a good regional level fighter. He's not ready for someone like me. Lorenz has had success in the UFC, in Strikeforce, in Bellator, now trying to complete the quadrifecta with the PFL. That's a word, right?
That's a word. It is now.
Real word. First fight on our main card, Gabriel Braga and Bubba Jenkins.
First up, in the blue corner, fighting out of Las Vegas, Nevada by way of Virginia Beach, Bubba Jenkins.
The always entertaining Bubba Jenkins. He's no stranger to the smart cage. Arizona State NCAA champion. He's known for his flashy style, but not just his dress, also his wrestling throws, his submission, and his fight style. Runner-up in 2022.
Fighting out of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, Gabriel Braga.
Braga came out of our Challenger Series and made it all the way to the finals in 2023. We ran smack into Pineda and won. Strategy with his father. He's a very resilient young man looking to bounce back. Certainly some question marks with not making weight for this particular fight.
And Bubba wasn't shy about telling us he thinks that Gabriel Braga missed weight on purpose. Didn't bother to cut. Wanted to have a weight advantage going into this one. Braga denies that, but we'll see how it plays out tomorrow. Welterweight contest next, Magomed Umalatov and Brennan Ward.
First, in the blue corner, fighting out of New London, Connecticut, Brennan Ward.
Brandon Ward, the most animated in fighter meetings today. He was very complimentary of his opponent's skills, but he said, don't forget about my skills. He's only been to one decision, 12 KOs, 8 subs.
Fighting out of Dagestan, Russia, Magomed Molotov.
Molotov is 15-0. The Prince comes from the top team in Dagestan as well.
Official weight 170.
Gentlemen, very, very well-rounded. We've seen some amazing striking combinations, but we also know the submission skills are there.
Ward, the biggest underdog on the card tomorrow night by a wide margin. Doesn't mind that role at all, Randy. He actually relished it, was excited about potentially spoiling the Prince's party. Welterweights up next, Logan Storley, Luka Pokley.
First up in the blue corner, fighting out of Dublin, Ireland, by way of Moldova, Luka Pokley.
Any fighter that loses pro debut and goes on a 10-fight tear is somebody to look out for. He's known for the Lukanator submission, inverted head arm triangle, and he said, I'm going for the submission. I'm trying to get the job done.
And in the red corner, fighting out of Webster, South Dakota, Logan Storley.
Half this place here tomorrow night is going to be filled with Logan Storley fans for sure. 6-time state champion here in the state of South Dakota. 4-time All-American in wrestling as well. Huge wrestling background. He's got 9 knockouts to his credit as well. This is a very, very formidable opponent. And half the people before the first season said this was the guy they thought might be the guy to win it.
And now his back is against the wall because he's coming off the only knockout loss of his career. He's got 0 points. Logan Storley's going to have to get it done quickly. And that brings us to our main event, Brendan Loughnane and Justin Gonzalez.
First up, in the blue corner, fighting out of Greeley, Colorado, Justin Gonzalez.
I love how Justin said, I am going for the finish. He understands the danger behind it, but he thinks he got the number of his opponent, Brendan Loughnane. He's going to come out there, utilize his wrestling, utilize his striking to try to get the finish, put himself in there for that $1 million.
And his opponent in the red corner, fighting out of Manchester, England, Brendan Loughnane. Official weight for Brendan, 146 pounds.
Loughnane, a former champion here at 145 pounds. Justin Gonzalez looking to break some bad momentum, pull off an upset. Here's your tail of the tape for that main event. Brendan Loughnane, 34. Gonzalez is a year younger. You can see how closely these guys measure up physically. 5'9" to 5'9", 146 and 146. Equal arm reach. Justin Gonzalez has the slightly longer legs. All right, Brendan Loughnane, always a great guy to talk to. And he's been really frank with us, Randy, about the way that he's had to make adjustments. Not just this year, previously, right? He said he underestimated the format, how difficult it was going to be to go back-to-back. And he underestimated last year an unknown fighter in Jesus Pinedo.
A whole bunch of guys underestimated Jesus Pinedo last season. Ooh.
To set the stage, Brendan Loughnane thought he was headed to the playoffs. He just had to coast to a victory against a guy who had not yet made his name in mixed martial arts. And then he ran into that knee. And Jesus Pinedo would continue onto a championship at $1 million. And it wasn't just Brendan Loughnane, as Randy mentioned. Gabriel Braga ran into that same mess. Bubba Jenkins ran into that same mess. Jesus Pinedo, a bit of a boogeyman for this featherweight division. Actually, before you say anything, this is how Brendan Loughnane felt he made the adjustments.
Last year, I sat here and said, I'm going to the final, this and that, and I was looking past people and too far ahead. There's none of that this year. One at a time, I'm here to do my job. My job is Justin Gonzalez on Friday night. And that is what I will take care of. Then I will think about the rest. Unlike last year, thinking well far ahead, booking dates for the final and all that. None of that this time. One at a time. Pedro's out the way now. Now it's time for Justin.
Yeah, I did see that fight with Brendan Loughnane and Jesus Pinedo. I thought it was a great fight. I think it was a very exciting fight. I think Brendan is very good at what he does, but he has flaws. And Pinedo pointed him out. I think I'm going to do the same thing. I think I'm going to find his flaws, I'm going to point them out, and I'm going to show the world. That's what's up.
So, look, both of these guys focused on the task at hand, but there is a bigger picture at play here. It's a spot in the playoffs, which means for Justin, you got to get a finish. For Brendan, maybe it changes, and he fights a little bit more conservatively. What's the correct approach?
I think the correct approach is the same way they're going about it. Gonzalez said, I'm going for the submission. I love that. The weeks before, everybody's like, oh, I just want to get the win. I don't want to go out there and try something spicy. But his opponent said, you know what I do best. I see the openings. I wait. I'm a sharpshooter. I'm going to take my time, and that's what he's going to do. He said, I'm not looking past anybody. I'm not looking to the next fight. I'm focusing on my opponent.
So the stage is set. Everybody's weighed in, and we are ready for an incredible night of action in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Featherweights and welterweights. The push to the playoffs will be complete with our final regular season event here in 2024. Early card starts at 6:30 Eastern. That's 5:30 local here in the Midwest. Main card on ESPN and simulcast on ESPN Plus at 10. Be there with us. Some fighters keep the $1 million dream alive tomorrow night.